Hello and welcome to Delhi. In 3 days there will be 6 billion of us, members of the human race that is. Tonight we're marking that milestone.
We'll be reporting from the front line of an Indian maternity ward. Then teenage sex and pregnancy in the United States, where contraception is taboo. From Gaza, the most overcrowded place on earth, the tick of the population time bomb. And is the love of cars and clothes creating an Italian baby drought?
No one knows, of course, where that 6 billionth baby will be born, but there must be a fair chance it'll be here. India's population has just passed the 1 billion mark. Before too long, there'll be more Indians than there are Chinese. And the numbers are growing fastest in those areas of the country least able to support them.
Dawn at Duncan Hospital, northern Bihar. For fathers and husbands, an uncomfortable night is over. For many women here and all over India, the labour is just beginning. "74,000 Indians will be born today." At Duncan Hospital, most babies and their mothers will pass through the hands of Dr. Sharon George. As she walks the wards, she hears the same story again and again. In rural India, parents want boys. Boys for status and boys for labour. The girls, almost without exception, are unwanted. This mother has just had her second.
Yeah, the mother, I asked her whether she's happy. She says, yeah, I'm happy, but the expression on her face didn't look so happy. She's probably dreading the moment that her husband and mother-in-law would come. Some of them actually start weeping with fear when the husband and mother-in-law come, because they feel that if it's a girl, then it's somehow a fault the mother's fault that it was a girl.
It means families are having 4 children for every 2 they want. To Dr. Sharon, as she's known here, it's the most significant factor keeping the birth rate high.
Somehow I feel that is the driving factor. There were 2 children born at the same time. One was a stillborn baby, that was a male baby, and one was a live baby, that was a girl. And the relatives of the girl baby started saying, no, this is not our baby, it's the boy. The male baby was actually a dead baby. But they were saying, no, that's our baby.
The state of Bihar is at the wrong end of most of the country's league tables, but the realities here in Raxaul, close to the border with Nepal, are reflected in much of rural India. The literacy rate is as shockingly low as the birth rate is high. Less than a quarter of the women here can read or write. Those queuing patiently for attention at the Duncan Hospital are to all intents and purposes beyond the reach of Delhi's policymakers, and they're kept there by those old enemies, superstition and ignorance. Even during an emergency operation, Dr. Sharon confronts a deep-seated suspicion of science. The prayers are part of the daily routine. This is a church-run hospital. Dr. Sharon's patient is a woman whose baby has died in the womb. Her uterus has ruptured badly. She won't die, but that's no thanks to her husband, a rickshaw driver from a nearby town.
She doesn't have any blood to be transfused into her right now. Her husband said he'd get his blood group checked, but then he refused at the last minute. So now we have this lady who had a ruptured uterus who should have blood so that her post-op recovery would be better, but she's probably not going to have it. These people, these ones who work really hard, the ones who do lots of manual labor, they feel that if they donate blood, their strength will decrease. They feel that even if something happened to the wife, suppose she died, they could always get another wife.
The choked and crowded town of Raxaul can rustle up a traffic jam worthy of Calcutta. The average number of children here has come down over the past half-century from 6 to 4. But policymakers despair of bringing it down further in states like Bihar, which are officially categorized as Bimaru or sick. In the 70s, the government tried to force people to accept family planning, but the brutality of that approach has been discredited. The new approach is based on persuasion and education, but in Bihar less than a quarter of couples practice any form of contraception. Duncan Hospital pumps out the message in village clinics, women's groups and at the weekly antenatal class. They recommend sterilisation.
It is kind of an uphill struggle. There's very few people who are willing to accept family planning. They don't understand that it would be a national disaster if our population grows. Often we have to just keep, persuading the patient until they finally accept. That's usually not the mother's decision. It's often the husband and the mother-in-law and other older people in the family.
Dr. Sharon uses every opportunity to promote the operation. A Christian herself, she comes up against the barrier of other religious convictions.
I think it's really pathetic, because some of them are just yearning they're just yearning to stop giving birth, just to, for their bodies to have some rest. Their hearts are sometimes really crying out for help. Yeah, she says that she has 4 children. The oldest one is a girl, then 2 boys and 1 more girl. She wanted a sterilization operation after the first 2 kids were born, but her husband didn't agree to it. And then she had another one, now she's expecting the 5th child. So she says to me, if you shout at my husband, if you force him, then he'll sign and give consent for a tubal ligation.
Dr. Sharon does as she's asked. She tracks down the husband. But her proposal provokes a passionate response. He's a strict Muslim.
वो गाली करेगा और अल्लाह ताला के पास में वो चरवा बच्चा कहेगा या अल्लाह यही हमारा बाप और माँ है कि हम लोग इस दुनिया पर आने से रोक दिया हैं इनको जहन्नम में कर दीजिए तो बच्चा सब की सिफारिश से हम लोग के जहन्नम में जा सकेंगे इसलिए हम चाहते हैं कि अभी उसका ऑपरेशन नहीं कराएं।
Later, his wife gives birth to a girl. It's unlikely to be her last. Duncan is the best medical facility for miles. In addition to the labour wards, it offers general surgery and an eye clinic. But the Emmanuel Hospital charity that runs it gets precious little help from the state government. They haven't received a penny of the funding they're owed for family planning. They make ends meet by asking patients to pay on a sliding scale according to their means. It's perhaps no surprise that family planning should have a low priority in a state where the most powerful politician has 11 children. As she starts the last ward round of the week, Dr. Sharon reflects on her own family. All her children are girls.
I don't miss a son at all. Yeah, I just love my 3 little girls.
But she'll find few who share those sentiments among her patients.
When we go into a room and we see a family looking upset, then we just kind of think in our minds, I'm sure it was a girl.
One of the mothers here has had twins, a boy and a girl. She only wants to keep one. No surprise about which it is.
She's happy she's got a boy and a girl. She's very happy she got the boy. She has 6 girls at home. So this is the 7th girl and a boy. Yeah, they're twins, so she's thrilled that she has the boy. She's not so happy about all the girls. She says she loves them both the same, but she's asking me, please take away the girl for me. I don't want the girl. So I said, why? She says, you take the girl and you look after the girl. I can't afford to get her married. But she says she loves them the same. दूसरा बच्चा बउआ होता था तो करा लेती थी. तो बस लड़के का इंतजार में थी. हाँ, बेटे का इंतजार.
The week is over. Time to tally up the figures in the Book of New Lives.
The last 1 week we've had around 100.